Hey guys, this is Daps. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am excited sharing another video with you again. In this video, I want us to talk about WP Optimize plugin. I want us to take a look at all the features, the best settings. But one thing I've noticed about this plugin is that is quite a cumbersome plugin. It's just literally very possible for you to use it, for you to install this plugin, and yet you underuse it. It's been said to be a one-stop solution for WordPress performance, and to a large extent, it says it does a lot of things. So I want us to look at all of these things together. If this is interesting, so let's get started into the tutorial immediately. So immediately you install this plugin. Once you come to the far left here, you see WP Optimize, and there are quite a number of things here. Anyone that followed me for a while will know that I'm a fan of WP Rocket to optimize my website. If it has to do with optimizing your database, there is a lot that WP Optimize brings to the table. So first off, we're going to start with database. Apparently, since that's the first thing on our list, there we have three options here, which is optimization, tables, and settings. The first thing we can do here is to scroll down and see all the optimizations that we can run. Ideally, you could just come here and run this optimization one after the other, but you can just tick this to tick all of them and then run all selected optimization. I think before we just optimize all of these, I want to go through all of these one after the other for us to understand what this really mean and what it does to your WordPress website. So the first thing here is optimize database table. In a nutshell, this will take away tables that are in a database that are not useful. Is quite recommended and is safe to do. So the next thing is for us to clean all post revision. Just as the name implies, what this would do is that it will automatically delete all post revisions that are found on our website. This is just a standard practice in the industry. What most people do not know is that every time you save a post as an update, it will save a copy of that post in its current state in your database, so that you can recover, so that you can have a recovery mode that you can go to in case you make mistake or you just want to recover maybe an item you deleted by mistake. As you can see here, I have 14 post revisions in my database that are not needful anymore. I need to just delete them. So the next thing is clean all auto draft posts. While we create posts in WordPress, automatically WordPress updates that post and save them as draft for us, different version of them, even if we don't save them. I don't know if that ever happened to you, that you are writing a post, maybe your laptop or your system just gets stalled and you have not even saved the post. You just have to refresh your system. By the time you are logging back into your system, WordPress is able to remember the last thing you did. You need to clean up all these things. All these things save this information in your database so that you can always have them back at your disposal. So the next thing is clean all trashed posts. So you understand what that means. It's not safe most times for you to wait for 30 days for WordPress to auto clean all the posts you have trashed yourself, so you can just manually trash them yourself. So that's a fantastic feature to also run as well. Remove spam and trashed comment. This is similar to trashed posts. It's just this time around this comment. So you've trashed them. WordPress by itself will try to delete them, but again, you can just manually optimize them yourself. Unapproved comment. Removing unapproved comment is a little bit dicey. I will not always recommend that you always tick this. This will come in very handy for you if you have a very heavy website where you get a ton of comments, and perhaps on your website you have 120 comments waiting in moderation for you to approve, and you have gleaned through the first 20 or 30 and you have realized that most of them are spam. So you could just delete them here by taking this, just remove unapproved comment immediately. But again, if you're somebody who pay very close attention to feedback on your website or blog, you want to manually go through all those comments and then approve the ones that are not spam before you now one click of a button remove all the unapproved comments. So the choice is yours, so you need to weigh in this option before you run this optimization. So if you're someone that is wary of not deleting real feedback on your website or feedbacks on your blog, you want to untick this while you are trying to run all the optimization. So the next we have here is just removing expired transient option. Transient is a way WordPress hold certain data temporarily so that it can hold some useful information, and every time someone needs to access that information, it doesn't need to run queries on your database on your website. So for example, you might be running a feed on your blog on your website, or maybe let's say you are running maybe an API connection from PayPal, or from, let's say you're running an affiliate blog with Amazon and there's an API connection from your blog to Amazon. So what WordPress would do is that it will hold that information, or for example for a certain feed, so those API informations are saved temporarily on your website for anybody who wants to use it. This is quite very useful, but sometimes when they are expired you don't need them anymore. So for example, you are no longer using PayPal and those transient are still in your database, so why do we want to have them? So for example, now if you check this site here, it says 2 of 15 transient options have expired. So it means I have transient about 15 of them right now, but just 2 out of them are expired. So I want to remove the expired ones. But again, I might just want to say delete all the 15. I really don't care. So if I want to do that, I will have to click this. But I really don't advise that you do this. Pingbacks and trackbacks are just part of WordPress commenting system that let other blog know when you maybe make a link or you mention them in your content, and so you send a ping to them. So trackback is just the same thing. It inform you when other people maybe mention you or make certain links to you. But sincerely, 90% of these are usually spam. From experience, people really don't activate pingbacks and trackbacks on their website, and it doesn't really help SEO, so I really don't see the need. But the truth is that on some rare occasions I've been able to see trackbacks on my website that are legit links that other people have mentioned me on their website. And on another funny occasion, I have seen a trackback of someone who literally copied my blog article and then pasted it directly, and then I got a track back to some internal links I've made in that article, and by the time I checked, it was somebody who literally copied all my content, and I had to reach out to the person. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be doing this, kindly take down this article. Somehow it has its own advantage, but the sincere truth is that most times 99.9% of all the trackbacks would be spam. Perhaps check first before you just remove all of them completely, and I think WP Optimize gives us option here to literally delete pingbacks and trackbacks on our website, and we'll get to that. So it's a good thing to run the optimization if you're sure. Clean post metadata, clean user metadata are somewhat similar. They are metadata for posts that are often in our database, and there are also users that have metadata in our database as well. So for example, if you have a membership site and you have certain users who have given you some information about them, their username, all this information are stored in the database. So that user information is stored. So for example, you may just delete that user and then you still have that meta data in your database. So if you run this optimization, what it will do is that it will check for orphaned metadata in your database to see if there's any information about any user who is no more on the website, or any post meta information that is no more on the data, to delete them. And you can see I don't have any of them, but if you do, then it's a good thing to run the optimization to clean them. Clean comment metadata is the same thing as well. So it will just search for orphaned comment that has metadata in your database to delete them. Cleaned offer relationship data, what it will do is that it will delete any relationship between terms that have been abandoned in the database. Since those terms no longer exist, then why do we need to leave them? There's no need for the relationship. So this is totally safe to run as well. You can come to tables. This table is literally nothing more than just a piece of information for us to know. This is just WP Optimize trying to link all our tables with the plugin, but it does a pretty much good job trying to do that, but not entirely. So you can see, like, for this table right now is by Elementor, but you can see for this table here, it can't really pull out the information of the plugin that is responsible for this. By and large, you would see that it would give us the record of all the tables, the size of all the table, and also the overhead. So you can see we don't have overhead here. So for this one that is red are the ones that we have overhead. So I have 16 MB of optimization to run, and if I come back to optimization here and then I run all the optimization, that should take away all the overheads that I have in my database. So if you come to settings, but first off here you can see that we can manually schedule this optimization to run. This is really up to you to run this optimization depending on the kind of website you have and how much information you keep. You can keep the last 2 weeks data. Like you can see written here is that this option will, where relevant, retain data from a chosen period and remove any garbage data before that period. So you want to say keep 2 weeks of data. 2 weeks is fantastic. You can choose to take it to 3, but I'm not sure you can do less than 2 weeks, which is a fantastic feature to do. So the next thing here is that you can keep 2 post revisions. This option will retain specific number of post revision and remove other revisions. I won't really want to do this because just take away 2 weeks of my data is okay, which is fantastic enough. Another thing you want to do is to schedule cleanup. You can enable this feature. This is another fantastic feature. You can just schedule this typically to be weekly. So if you're doing 2 weeks here, so I think it's just safe to just do fortnightly here as well. So for every time there's an optimization, then there can also be a cleanup. So it makes it sync together. So 2 weeks, 2 weeks, that makes sense. So you may want to, it's okay to optimize database tables, remove unapproved comment. Like I said, I would not want to do that. Remove spam and trashed comment. That's okay. Remove trashed post, auto draft. All these ones are okay. But these ones here you want to trade carefully. Remove expired transient, then why not? Remove orphaned user data. If it is an orphaned user meta, why not? But unapproved comment, I wouldn't want to. That's really up to you to decide whether or not you want to do this. So if you are done doing that, you can hit the save changes button. So the next thing we can do here is to come to images, and you can see we can come here and we can still have that option here. So for our images, we have one option here, and these 2 other options are paid. So personally, I would never go pro on WP Optimize just because of these 2 features here, because I want to believe that there are a lot of plugins out there that will do this too for me for free. But to compress our images, fantastic, is something we can look into. Automatically compress newly added image, that's something I want to tick. I want to know how my images and what I've been saving using this, so it's a fantastic feature. And then our compression option, what this really is for you to prioritize maximum compression, which is naturally my go-to. If you click this, it will just slightly optimize the images, still keeping the quality of the image in perspective. But what this would do is it would optimize the images for them to be as light as possible, even if it will affect the quality of the image. It doesn't make sense for me to have a picture uploaded to my website and it's appearing blurry just because I want to just compress it. It doesn't make sense. So what this plugin has done is just to play safe by putting custom and just putting you at the center. I kind of swap them for each other. So prioritizing retention to detail means that I want to keep the quality of my picture. So if you are not, for you not to confuse yourself, just come here and just say best quality, just keep it somewhere here, and that's good enough. Yeah, create web version of our images, that's good. This is a very light version of our images, and if you come here you can see our compression service is remote, and that's the only option that we have, so we can't change that. So this is something very useless. I don't really think we need to worry about this. Backup original images. If I am already prioritize my image for best quality here, I really wouldn't want to back up my original image, because this would just take off my disk space. So automatically delete this image backup after certain amount of days. So 50 days is quite crazy. I don't know why I will have to keep this. I can't have any bad image on my website and I will not notice it in a day or two. If you must go through this route, I would advise that you just keep it for a maximum of 7 days. You have the option here to restore all compressed image, and you can also mark all images as compressed. So if you come down here to images, I just want to, for your example purpose, see how this is done. So we can just select this image for example, and then we can just say compress this selected image. So you can see it's connecting to Remosh or Resmosh or whatever it is. And you can see that this image is compressing. So you can see one image has been compressed. You can view the compression statistics, but you can see here that we have been able to save 269.82 kilobytes, which is something good for you to do for all your images. So you can select all the images and then compress them here. So that's it for images. So the next thing you can do with this plugin is to come to cache. Once you enable page caching, the page will, like it is written here, WP Optimize will automatically detect and configure itself optimally for your site. Just turning this on is enough most times for everything you need to do. So once you do this, you can always purge your page once certain things have been cached, but we don't have anything cached now, so there's nothing to purge. And then for settings, generate separate files for mobile device. This will be useful for people who have separate arrangement to display something entirely different from their web version on their mobile version. So you want to separate the files of your mobile so that you can speed up more your mobile and then also the web version apparently. So this will be a good feature for you to turn off if you have that kind of feature on your website. Served cache pages to logged in users. This is a no-brainer for me. Sincerely, is stupid if I am the only one running my website. So why would I want to serve a caching page for myself when I log in into my website? The only time this would make sense is if you have other people use your website and basically they are coming to get something that is static. So if you have, for example, you have a membership website where some content, some article on your website premium, people have to pay to read those articles, then you can serve cached pages for login users as well. So cache lifespan 24 hours. You may, if I would serve login user my cache page, I may want to increase this from 24 hours to maybe 2 or 3 days, depending really on the kind of content you're having and how dynamic those content are. But if you are running a website where you are the only admin of that website, you don't want to log in, is a no-brainer for you to want to serve yourself a cached page. So that's it for page cache. So we might also want to come to preload. So running a preload on your website is a fantastic feature. You may want to reload certain pages for your web visitors, and this would be okay if you have a sitemap already on your website. So if you run this, WP Optimize will check your sitemap to know what exactly to serve, to preload that will serve people who wants to check your website. For scheduled preloader, sincerely personally I wouldn't want to activate this because if I have a lifespan on my cache already, so there is just the same thing. So advanced settings, you may want to exclude some pages on your website from caching. Maybe your gateway page installed on a certain page on your website and you don't want that page cached. You can just, you can see here, for example, product green beans. So you can just put the URL here. It's something very straightforward. So you can just come here and populate some of the pages on your website. But sincerely, I really don't waste so much time with this. I don't have that kind of website where I have specific pages that I don't want to cache. For GV zip compression, like I said, this is just there for you to know that yes, because this thing is always compressed already. It's the same thing for static files header, it is always ticked. But if you can check in case if for some reasons this is not ticked, the plugin should be able to let you know what you need to do to make sure that this is ticked by default, which is ideal. So the next thing we have to do is to come to Minify, and this is where we need to start getting very careful with what we do. Yeah, minifying CSS and JavaScript and also HTML is an advanced feature, and you need to be very careful when you do this because this can easily break your site. But again, it's a fantastic feature that can help you reduce the page size of your website. That would increase the performance, it will increase the page speed, and it's a fantastic feature. But again, it's something that you have to be very careful of. So I would definitely want to enable this feature, at least on the barest minimum. I like to leave this too because I love to compress my CSS and my JavaScript. But when you do this, you want to make sure that you check your live website to see that nothing is broken. If anything is broken, come back and deactivate it immediately. There are some settings that you can still do under this. It will bring us here where you can go to your JavaScript directly and then your CSS directly. So if you click this, it will bring you here. Still is the same thing. So enable minification of your JavaScript file. Yes, I've said that is something you want to do. Isolating JavaScript and whatever is not necessarily compulsory. I really don't advise that you tick this. So as you can see, by default it's not even ticked as well. So you can exclude some JavaScript from processing. You can come here and come and include all of those things, but these things are not necessarily compulsory. You don't need to bother yourself if you are a non-techie. But with these settings, default settings, you are good to go. And the same thing again for our CSS. You want to enable minification of CSS. You should never inline CSS. This would complicate things for you. Yeah, I like to strip print to related style sheet. It doesn't do much, but it could do a little, so I love to do that. You can also exclude some CSS files from processing. If you don't know much about CSS, don't bother yourself, just leave things as they are, and then when you do that, you can hit your save changes button. I didn't even bother to check our site after we enable minification to see if our website is still loading well. You can see my website is not broken, my website is still okay. So you have to make sure that you check to see if that would break your website. Yeah, again, for our front, I personally will always want Google front to load. I leave this as is. Most times I like to leave these settings the way they are, and I'm always okay with what's been done here. So we can still come down to settings. So for settings, disable minify for login users. I will not tick this. I will leave it as is. This will be good for debugging. For our SSL option, yeah, same as my home URL. My old URL is HTTPS. So in case you are not sure whether your home URL is HTTPS, you can choose to force HTTPS. But again, my website load well on HTTPS. So but again, I may just leave this for security reasons to force HTTPS. So once that is done, I can just hit the save changes. So we can also come to our preload. There's really nothing to really bother about here. You can just run in case you need to run that. So we can see our minify cache information, the list of our processed files. So we can see the JavaScript on our website are now being minified. So we can also see our CSS file are also being minified. So you may want to set advanced option. You may want to set a cache lifespan for this minification. You may want to set it 30 days. That's fine. Well, depending on the kind of website and how you update your site from time to time. But again, it's something you want to look into. But for me, I think anything within maybe 10 days, 20 days, 30 days is okay. Then never enable debug mode. Never do that except you have reasons to debug one thing or the other. And if that's done, you can just hit your save changes. So that's it for minification. And then finally we can come to our settings. Enable admin bar. It is not ticked. If you tick this, it will enable WP Optimize at the admin bar, and sincerely it's okay here. It just cluster this place, but you will see that enable caching menu is already ticked, and that this sit here so that one time you come to your website you can easily purge your minify cache, just easily purge. And this is highly very recommended. It's very easy for you to just purge things in case you want to purge your cache. Aside from that, I leave this, and you can see you can also disable trackbacks and also disable comment generally on your website. This is an ideal way to disable comment. So WP Optimize has done well with this feature. This would just literally disable any future comment on your previously published post, and this is fantastic. So you can disable comment generally with the use of this plugin. So like I said, this plugin does a lot of things and is quite fantastic. Another option that you have here is for you to export your settings. In case you've optimized your WP Optimize plugin on another website, you can export it from there and then import it here so that you have the same settings here. And this is a fantastic feature so that you don't get to customize this on every of your new website in that sense. So that's the option for your import and your export. And wipe settings is just the ability for you to wipe away all the settings that you have done on WP Optimize in case you want to disable or you want to remove the plugin. So this will delete all the settings to take away all the tables in your database, and it will free up your database. So do not wipe your settings if you do not want to completely do away with WP Optimize. If you wipe all these settings, it means that you would have to come and reconfigure your WP Optimize all over again. So that's what that means. So that's it for this plugin. I believe is a very bulky plugin. It does quite a lot of things. Now the question is this plugin very useful? Then why not? It is, because it's free. I may look into the premium version for you to see exactly what it does in subsequent videos. There are quite a number of things it does. By and large, I believe the plugin can help the performance of your website to a large extent. So it's a plugin I recommend that you install. It does quite a good number of things, and just like it is a one-stop solution for every of your optimization problem. Go ahead and experiment this on your website and let me know if you get significant boost to performance on your website. You can check with GTmetrix. I would love your feedback as much as possible. Thank you so much for your time. That's my time for this video. I hope you find this quite very useful. If you do, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this in the nearest future. Until then, stay safe.